What's going on, everybody? ChromeOnRust here. So it seems pretty fitting, you know, to have a video at the beginning of a season and at the end of a season talking about what did happen or talking about what's going to be happening. There not really being much time in between season 2 and season 3. Just going to kind of hit you with an all-in-one video talking about, you know, what went down in season 2, things that I would like to, I guess, see changed in future seasons. And not really too much talking about what's going to be happening in Season 3 because I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. There's a lot of new sets, new builds. I was really dedicated to farming Season 2, not really playing on the PTR much. Don't have a real, you know, good understanding of the exact meta and what exactly is going to be going on. It's really going to be interesting, though, to see what's going to be happening in 4-mans, who's going to be the highest solo class, that type of thing. It's going to be, you know, pretty exciting. See what types of builds emerge, what kinds of exploits for Season 3. But, you know, it's taking a step back here, going into Season 2. What did happen? Really, the big thing for me was I was looking to grow Nasty Old Vikings. Not really just myself, but Yarlith and myself. He's a good buddy of mine. I have known him for, you know, 15 plus years, 18, I don't know, maybe 20 now. Probably not quite 20, but we're getting there. We've known each other a long time. How about that? And we've been a part of Nasty Old Vikings since the early 2000s in Ultima Online. It was a really exciting game. I'm not going to get into it too much. It's pretty outdated, but if you played, you know what I'm talking about. And there was guilds. You know, the first guild that we were really ever a part of that like had a community built around it was Nasty Old Vikings. And then there was just a bunch of in-game like drama and everything just fell apart. You know, Yarlith and myself, we just kind of took it upon us throughout the years, and as we've grown older, to just stay dedicated to Nasty Old Vikings. So, you know, we brought it into various games, maybe League of Legends. People hate to hear that, but also Diablo3. So we're looking to, you know, build a community, just have a good time, have people to run with and everything. So the first thing that I want to talk about here is there's a dude, HC Geist, and he's a part of Nasty Old Vikings, and it's just really great for me, you know, to see some of these. I guess are going to be sick brags when you're going through the leaderboards. I guess it's going to be a little bit of a sick brag, but I'm going to kind of bounce around through classes, talk about a few different things. So it was great for me to see somebody else that was able to, you know, achieve a top spot, whether they were or not even, you know, really, but just to look at the leaderboards and, you know, there's other people playing other than just you that are dedicated to doing the same thing. You help them succeed, they help you succeed. To see someone else on the leaderboards is kind of like a part of me is on that leaderboard as well. So, it's, you know, pretty exciting, a little bit nerdy, whatever. We're going to jump over to the Crusaders. I want to talk about this guy, the rank 40 Crusader. Now it's one of those things. He farmed all season long. He had a higher Paragon than I did. I was like at 686. I believe he got it right around 700. I don't know if he quite hit that mark yet or not, but he lost a lot of focus and everything because he found like 30 Blade of Prophecies. And I don't know why the list just keeps updating, but he found like 30 Blades of Prophecies, and not one of them was an ancient. The entire season, like the last, like at least a couple weeks, all he was really gambling for was just Blades of Prophecy. And we know how horrible it is to spend 75 blood shards just for one item. But it's what he had to do. It was the last piece of gear that he needed, and I'm sure there are other people in the same exact situation where they were grinding out season 2, and they were probably maybe even pushing hard like he was. And he wasn't able to find a Blade of Prophecy, and this is a real big problem and something that needs to change. Now, they've said in their tavern talk, and it was even kind of recently, like just their previous tavern talk, they were talking about ancient legendaries or ancient weapons. How about that? You know, legendaries, just the weapons. They were saying that they want all of their weapons to be pretty overpowered and really cool. So it's not like, oh, I found a furnace and that's the only weapon I want to use. You know, if you come across something else, you're actually maybe going to be wanting to use it. So they want all of their legendary weapons to be really cool, but, you know, that's something in reality. You know, let's put this in perspective here. They've wanted all of their legendaries to be really cool since Diablo 3 Vanilla came out. And I realized there was a lot of bugs and a lot of things, or just mechanics needed to be worked on. A lot of rough edges needed to be shaved down, and they did have to take care of those type of things first. To make the game actually pretty solid, to make you actually want to play, to find those legendaries. But now that it is more of a solid game, that's my opinion, I suppose. But there's somewhat of a competitive scene, and you're able to log on and know that there's other people pushing and everything. And if you can't find the weapon that you need, just a little sidetrack there. If you can't find the weapon that you need, how are you going to be able to compete? You farm 2 months, you don't find the weapon that you need. They either need to tone down ancient legendary weapons, or they need to buff up regular legendary weapons, or they need to make it so you can gamble off a Kadala two-handed swords, two-handed maces. There's few different solutions. What they choose to do is really up to them. I hope they don't wait to the point where they think all of their legendaries are really cool, because I just don't see it happening anytime real soon. Don't get me wrong, the new sets that are coming out in season 3, some of it looks pretty interesting, it looks pretty exciting. It's new content though as well, you got to keep that in mind. But it's going to be fun, it's going to be exciting. But if you don't find the weapon that you're looking for, and you have your set, you're running Roland set on your Crusader or whatever, and you don't find the weapon that you need, your Ancient Furnace or whatever it's going to be, how are you going to compete? Maybe that's not what you're looking to do, and it doesn't necessarily affect you, but I'm sure you still want the powerful gear. You want to be able to acquire it, and if you want a particular item, you want to have some way to at least help yourself target farm that. And yes, Kadala does, but there is a tremendous amount of variance around finding an ancient two-handed weapon that you're going to be needing. So we're going to jump over to, there's that's a little rant there. We're going to jump over to the monks, because monks are my new favorite class. A demon hunter and a monk, okay? You put them together in a trial, and they have little keystone babies together, and it's honestly a beautiful thing. You're able to get the keys that you want. Yes, you have to run trials still, and you're running them for hours on end. Don't get me wrong, I don't want trials, I want them gone. But when you get a monk and a demon hunter together and they have little trial babies, it is a very nice thing. You're able to get the keys that you want. Sure, if you're shooting for 48, you're going to get some 47s, 49s, 50s, or whatever. But I was able to meet up with the rank 1 monk and the rank 3 monk, them needing to do trials, and me needing to do trials as well. It was just pretty cool. I was able to meet up with just a couple of regular dudes. I didn't know either one of them. I talked to both of them, and I didn't know either one was on the leaderboards. I talked to See the Sunset, and I was like, oh, you want them 50 keys, huh? And he's like, I was like, you want that number 1 spot, going for those 50 keys? And he's like, I already have number 1. I just want to push higher. I was like, oh dang, I didn't even know you were a baller, I guess. But See the Sunset was actually the rank 2 in the world. Rank 1 was actually a wizard. Now this is hardcore. This is the hardcore side of things. Hardcore wizard, rank 1 in the world. Normally you'd be rank 1 demon hunter, right? No, it was a wizard. So things are a little bit different in hardcore. Now if you never played, I don't want to get into hardcore versus softcore, because there are advantages and good things about both of them. But if you've never played hardcore, I'd at least give it a try. If you can take the pain of losing a bit of gear, losing a bit of time, the excitement while you are playing, in my opinion, is definitely amplified. So the last class that we're going to talk about, I really don't have anything to say about the Witch Doctor per se. We're going to jump over to the Demon Hunter. Now Yarlith and myself were able to achieve a top 1,000 spot, so that was pretty exciting. He didn't quite push as hard as I did, and I was able to get, though, rank 6. It's pretty decent. Was able to clear a 48, and I want to say that my clear was awesome. It was super exciting. It was right down to the wire and everything. Now I'm going to upload the video on YouTube, but it is horrendous. It was painful. I was playing, I can remember pretty vividly, there was a ton of mistakes. Mistakes were made. You're going to see it. I'm going to upload it. If you want to check it out, it's going to be uploaded for you to watch the playthrough, and it was interesting. It got the job done, so I can't complain, but this time should have definitely been faster. But it is what it is. I made the mistakes. That's what I love about the game, is if you play bad, it will actually hurt you, because it's a timed trial. You need to be minimizing and maximizing, your errors and your efficiency. So rank 6, I believe this put me at rank 30 in the world for all classes, so that was some pretty exciting stuff. Now a couple things, I've actually already talked about 2 of them that I would really like to see changed. One of them being the ancient weapons that we went over. Ancient weapons are a pretty big problem. I really like them, don't get me wrong, but they amplified the problem when they made ancient legendaries and they put weapon damage as one of the stats that can be buffed on those ancient legendary weapons. It put a big disparity in finding your ancient furnace, finding your blade of prophecy. The other thing that I wanted to go over that I touched on briefly was trials. The trial system is so painful. It's like honestly the one thing, like at the very end of the season, season 3, like I'm gonna go through, you know, my normal paces, push a little bit here and there, and try to maybe get some conquests and various things at the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, but it's going to come down to the end, and I know that I'm going to have to run trials again, and I know that I'm going to hopefully be able to find another monk to be able to run trials again, and it's going to be painful, and it really just like prevents you from wanting to push these higher, greater rifts, content in the game that the developers provided that's supposed to be, you know, fun, exciting, and semi-competitive, and it's kind of not because of the trial system and, you know, other things, the way people were manipulating pylons and whatever. There's bugs, exploits, and everything, but trials to me are the root of the problem for greater rifts. It's just a very, very bad system. And the last thing that I was going to talk about that I wanted to see changed for season 3, I don't necessarily know what it was. Oh, the other thing about greater rifts. I know this is just a rambling video. That's really just what it was going to be. That was just talking about. But the other thing that I would love to see changed is removing all the clutter down here on the bottom of the screen. There is the profile, your leaderboards, your achievements, your game menu. Now that's not all on your screen when you're playing in greater rifts, but you have your friends list, you have your like cosmetic window now, and your guild chat, and there's, you know, your profile up on the left, and you have all your bat companion, your wolf companion, your spider companion, and they're all lined up there on the top left, and you're just clicking on so many things, and you like almost accidentally chat with people while you're doing greater rifts, and you just keep sending them 2121 and like QQQ or whatever your health button is, you know, because you're like, what's going on? Why are my buttons working? Am I lagging? I'm taking damage. I would really love to see them have a system to where you can go in the settings, and when you enter a greater rift, you could say that you want to disable your, I don't want to say your chat log, because maybe you still want to be able to scroll through and see actually when you engage the elites. That's pretty important. But party chat to me should at least make it so you can, when you see an elite, it should say when you're in party chat that you engaged an elite. The only way that you can see that you engaged elite in the chat log is actually through all chat. So you can't even like turn off all the chat. You have to sit there and look at the chat. So maybe if there was a way to disable it, and so you could just switch over to party chat and you would still be able to see the elites that you engaged, but also gray out the friends list, gray out the cosmetics window, make sure that you can't click on your profile, you know, where your portrait is and all that. That would just be really amazing to me. Those 2 things, or I guess 3 things, are really tied to the end level of greater rifts. Those 3 things could really, I feel, help improve Diablo 3 in a pretty positive way. So that's it. You know, that's pretty much all I had for this video. I guess, you know, one more thing. Just for, you know, I don't want this to be a sick brag, but it was super exciting for me. I've played games for many of years, and never once has anything happened to this magnitude, or whatever you want to say. Not that it's even like that exciting. Need for Speed, I was able to get rank 1 in hardcore. This is on the Americas server, and it sent like a global message across the server, and it was like, ChromeOnRust rank 1 Need for Speed, and I was like, this is exciting. And then like messages just started flooding in, like, you're a dork, you're a nerd, like, how did you do that, you're hacking, sweet, that was super awesome, you know, congrats, things like that. Just so many different messages. And when I say like thousands, it probably literally was thousands. Now unfortunately I didn't record this run, you know, it was kind of late at night. What time was it around? It was, yeah, it was like almost midnight. My bedtime, for me, you know, I set my own bedtime, come on now, is like 11 o'clock. I try to at least shut off the computer, you know, kind of wind down, make sure I get everything ready for the morning. So it was like 11:30. I was sitting at the computer. It was early on in the season. I saw one of my friends from the softcore side got the Need for Speed on the softcore side, whatever it is. I don't remember exactly, which one is Speed Demon, maybe. He was ranked 14. I was like, dude, that's super sweet. I kind of forgot about that conquest, and I was like, I'm going to try to go for it. Not knowing that no one else had actually already done it yet. So I'm just running these rifts. I wasn't actually like clearing them. I had like 20 keystones in my bag. It was late. I wasn't going to start running bounties, and I didn't want to run a ton of rifts, so I just opened a rift. I closed a rift. I opened a rift. I closed a rift. And I opened a rift. And then I closed a rift. I was just really looking for the right density as well as the right map layout. So, like Southern Highlands, things like that, or the Desolate Sands is actually the map that I was able to do this on, because they're big wide open areas. You're playing a demon hunter, you're shooting everywhere, you're just shrekking every monster that comes across your path. This is only like, maybe a week into the season, and you're just able to obliterate Torment 6 insanely. So it was super exciting. That was my season 2. So I'm ChromeOnRust for Core Expert Gaming. If you are looking for a hardcore clan to join that is seasonal, you can get in touch with me through community Nasty Old Vikings, or if you're just looking to hang out and you already have a clan, you can join community Nasty Old Vikings, and we'll see what we can do. If you'd like to join the clan, do send me that message. I'm out of here. Like, subscribe if you would, and you all, as always, have a great day.